I'm not sure, but while we work that all out, we're going to move right on. Tax day is fast approaching. Have you filed yet? Well, if you haven't, you should, because, you know, most people, they say get a refund. But even if you're not in that category, there are some strategies, and joining us now is an expert on all of this, John Hewitt. He is the founder and CEO of Liberty Tax Service. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Patty.
All right. So, you know, I mentioned that most people get a refund. What is the percentage of people who end up earning money from not earning money, getting back their own money?
About 85% of the people that file get a refund.
Yeah. So people shouldn't be afraid. They should go ahead and do it. But let's say you are in that category where you are going to owe money. Can you file an extension? But if you do, don't you still have to pay? How does that work?
Yeah, there's a couple things to consider. Number one is you can still adjust your taxes from last year by contributing into an IRA. You can do that as late as April 17th. You can file as late as April 17th. But if you owe money, there's something that's very, very important, and that is that you must file your return even if you can't afford to pay. You can file for an extension to pay, to make payments, but there's a 5% penalty per month for not filing a return. It's only 0.5% for not paying the amount you owe. So it's 10 times higher not to pay. And one thing interesting is, it also is that I read a recent study that over the last 30 years, there's 6% more traffic fatalities on the last filing day, this year, April 17th. They think it's related to stress of filing or trying to get to the post office to the last minute. So watch yourself on the road on April 17th.
That is fascinating, and that statistic goes back decades.
30 years.
But meanwhile, I'm surprised to hear that many people are even rushing to the post office, because it is much easier and even more economical to file electronically.
Yes, electronic filing. The one thing that it does for sure is you get acknowledgement that your return is received. If you send it through the mail, you never know whether the IRS received it or not.
And also, when you file electronically, you get your refund faster.
Yeah, typically instead of taking 3 or 4 weeks, you get it in just 7 to 10 days.
All right. So, what are the other tips that you have for folks who owe and who can't pay? You mentioned installments.
Yeah, for sure. File extension a form 9954, an opportunity to pay by installments. You don't have to pay out once. Even if you can't pay anything, file your return. You'll save 5% a month in penalties for the first 5 months, 25% of the balance due.
So do you recommend that people, I know you own a tax service, but what people should file on their own versus using the software programs, or versus going into an office and getting that personal assistance?
You know, we have 2,000 franchisees, and when we polled them, we asked them what percentage of people that do their own return on a computer get it right, and they traditionally say less than 50%. That errors aren't errors of commission, they're errors of omission. People just don't know all the deductions they're entitled to. So, and as a result of that, we check tax returns for free. So if you have any question, if you've done your own return and you're concerned that it's wrong, we'll check it on the telephone. You can come into our office. We'd be happy to check it, because we just find so many errors where people have failed to take deductions they're entitled to.
Yeah, the software programs are designed to be conversational and almost like one-on-one, but I'm a big fan of one-on-one. I want to be able to talk to somebody and ask them questions, not ask a computer. But all right, John, we're going to ask you to hang on. Now, we do have Jeff Flock back right now from the CME, and we cut into John Hewitt here to get to Jeff, since we had his audio corrected there. But going back to you, so what other important tips would you give to folks as tax day approaches?
We sort of alluded to it earlier. It's important, if you're going to file an extension, if you owe money, to know that it doesn't qualify as an extension unless you pay 95% of the tax you owe. So filing an extension won't work unless you pay the money that you owe with the extension. So make sure, file your return. That's most important, and you can still possibly save money for 2011 by contributing to an IRA as late as April 17th. Yeah,
that is a very important tip. All right, and you have a website where people can go for more information?
Sure, LibertyTax.com.
LibertyTax.com. John Hewitt of Liberty Tax Service. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Patty.
And don't forget, folks, April 17th, a couple of extra days there, because the 15th is on a weekend and the 16th is a holiday in Washington, D.C. So you got a couple of extra days there. And drive carefully, because John Hewitt says the accident rate goes up. People are distracted. Maybe they're on their cell phones. Let's check in one more time with that poll.